Hello friends, myself Dr. Nandakumar Rao Bawale from College of Engineering Ambazogai is going to deal with Applied Thermodynamics 1. This is our fifth lecture concerned to steam generators, boilers. In previous lecture, we have discussed about calculation of enthalpy of a steam where we considered three types of steam, that is quality of steam. One is wet steam, dry saturated steam, and superheated steam. Then we studied evaporation capacity of boiler, then evaporation rate, which is defined with respect to grate area, furnace volume, etc. Then we discussed equivalent evaporation, which is required to specify boiler. In order to compare two boilers, equivalent evaporation is required. Then factor of evaporation we discussed. Boiler efficiency, we derived formula to find out boiler efficiency, and the factors affecting boiler efficiency also we discussed in detail. Now today we will discuss about heat losses in the boiler plant and heat balance. Coming to the losses in boiler plant, the heat is produced by combustion of fuel in the furnace or combustion chamber of a boiler, where this heat which is produced in the combustion chamber of boiler is utilized for various purposes. Very first major quantity of heat is utilized to generate steam, and rest of the part of heat is lost in various ways, and where this heat is lost and how to analyze, how to calculate the amount of heat lost in various devices or along with the various modes that we will be studying here. So very first mode is heat lost along with the flue gases. So when fuel is burned into the combustion chamber, so the flue gases are coming out with heat, and that heat is imparted first to the water to convert it into steam. Then these flue gases are passed through superheater, then economizer, air preheater. Finally, after discharging heat into the various devices or various heat exchangers, the flue gases are liberated into the atmosphere. When the flue gases are liberated into the atmosphere, the temperature of flue gas is not equal to the atmospheric temperature, so it is higher than the atmospheric temperature. That means the hot gases which are liberated or discharged into the atmospheric air are carrying heat energy along with it. So that is nothing but heat carried by flue gases which are discharged into the atmosphere. This is kind of heat lost into the atmosphere that we have to calculate how much of heat the hot gases are taking along with it when are discharged through the chimney into the atmosphere. And second is the heat loss due to incomplete combustion of fuel. So when fuel is burned into the combustion chamber, if the sufficient quantity of air or sufficient quantity of oxygen is supplied to the combustion of fuel, then complete energy, heat energy will be liberated by the combustion of fuel. Else, if the partial combustion takes place, then partial amount of heat will be liberated. So that is nothing but heat is lost because of incomplete combustion of fuel. If there is a deficiency of oxygen in the combustion chamber, then fuel is burned incompletely, and that amount of heat energy which we were supposed to get by the combustion of fuel, we may not get. Therefore that we call as a heat loss due to incomplete combustion of fuel. Then third parameter is heat loss due to unburned fuel. So when fuel is supplied into the combustion chamber over the grate, so some part of fuel is going to drop into the ash pit along with the ash, and that remains unburned, and when such fuel remains unburned because of mixing with ash and falling into the ash pit, so such fuel which remains unburned, that does not liberate heat energy, and that is nothing but one kind of heat loss. So incomplete combustion and unburned fuel. So these are the two losses because of we can say improper combustion of fuel. Then fourth is heat lost by convection and radiation. So the parts of a boiler are exposed to the atmospheric air, and because of this the heat is lost to the atmospheric air by the two modes of heat transfer. One is convection and radiation. Generally this amount of heat lost by convection and radiation is not calculated by any of the measuring techniques, so that is unaccounted heat, and that we have to find out how much of heat is lost and which is not accounted, that we call as a heat loss by convection and radiation. Coming to heat loss along with the flue gases, so heat is lost along with the flue gases in two ways. So flue gases contain dry products. Dry products means the product of combustion and steam generated due to combustion of hydrogen in the fuel. So generally fuel contains hydrocarbons. When carbon is burned, carbon dioxide is produced, and carbon dioxide is dry product of combustion. And if fuel is burned and if the fuel contains hydrogen in it, and if by the combustion of hydrogen water is formed, and this water which is formed by combustion of hydrogen absorbs heat energy in order to evaporate itself, and the amount of heat absorbed by water particles generated by combustion of fuel will also carry heat along with it in the form of vapor or steam, which is mixed along with the flue gases. And then again, if the fuel contains moisture in it also, the moisture when fuel is burned, the moisture also absorbs heat in order to get itself evaporated. So that moisture also mixes with the product of combustion, that is flue gases, and is let into the atmosphere. So here when flue gases are discharged into the atmosphere are going to carry heat along with it. So one is the dry product of combustion, that is carbon dioxide, carries heat along with it, and the vapors formed by combustion of hydrogen or the water present in the fuel also absorbs heat energy to convert that water into steam, and that mixes with the flue gases and carries heat along with it into the atmosphere. So here heat is lost in two ways: heat lost through dry flue gases. Second one is heat carried by steam in the flue gases. Heat is carried by steam, and this steam is generated because of two reasons. One is by combustion of hydrogen, and another is by presence of moisture. So this moisture also absorbs heat and carries heat along with it into the atmosphere. So heat lost through dry flue gases. How to evaluate how much of heat energy dry flue gases are carrying along with them? So now we see this. So for example, we burn some 1 kg of fuel into the combustion chamber. When 1 kg of fuel is burned, then mg kg of flue gases are formed. Dry flue gases are formed. Mass of gases formed in kg per kg of fuel burned. If we burn 1 kg of fuel, then mg kg of flue gases are formed. Then CPG is the specific heat of gases in kilojoules per kg degree Celsius. It is the specific heat at constant pressure of that hot gases. Then Tg is the temperature of gases which are discharged into the atmosphere. So for example, this is chimney. This is chimney, and through this chimney hot gases are discharged into the atmosphere. The hot gases which are moving into the atmosphere are at the temperature of Tg degree Celsius. So this Tg is the temperature of flue gases which are discharged into the atmosphere. Then Ta is the temperature of ambient air, temperature of air entering into the combustion chamber. So when air is entering into the combustion chamber, it has got ambient air temperature, or if it is heated into the air preheater, then it will be higher than ambient air temperature. So this is considered as Ta. So now how to find out amount of heat carried by flue gases? Generally we know Q is equal to M Cp delta T. So M is the mass of gases, Cp is specific heat, delta T is change in temperature. So here we know Mg is mass of gas, Cpg is specific heat, and delta T means difference of this temperature, Tg minus of Ta. So this much amount of heat is carried along with the flue gases into the atmosphere. So this is obtained by this equation. Q1 amount of heat is carried by flue gases into the atmosphere, where Mg is mass of hot gases, Cpg is specific heat, and Tg is temperature of gas which is discharged into the atmosphere, and Ta is the temperature of air entering into the combustion chamber in kilojoules. So here mass is mass of gas we know, therefore this is nothing but amount of heat energy which we calculate in terms of kilojoules. So coming to heat carried by steam in flue gases. So heat is also carried by steam into the flue gases. So heat carried by flue gases accounts two things: heat carried by dry flue gases as well as heat carried by steam in the flue gases. Part A we studied. So this was part A which we studied here. Then part B is amount of heat carried by steam, which is found by combustion of hydrogen and evaporation of moisture present in the fuel. So this is how we calculate steam heat carried by steam in the flue gases. So here steam is produced by combustion of hydrogen present in the fuel. So combustion of H2 produces water, and that water gets evaporated, and that water, evaporated water, that is steam, is also carrying heat along with it. So second is steam is produced by evaporation of water present in the fuel. Say for example coal is the fuel and it contains moisture. So this moisture also absorbs heat in order to get evaporated and carries heat along with it. Then say for example MS1, M suffix S1 is mass of steam formed per kg of fuel due to combustion of H2 in the fuel and moisture present in the fuel. If H2 is the mass of combustion of H2 is combustion of H2 is the quantity of hydrogen. By combustion of hydrogen, steam is produced. By evaporation of moisture present in fuel, steam is produced. Altogether, MS1 we will call as a mass of water or mass of steam produced by combustion of hydrogen as well as evaporation of moisture present in the fuel. So this is one thing. Then HF1. HF1 is nothing but enthalpy of water at boiler house temperature. So initially when hydrogen is burned, water is formed that has got certain enthalpy. If fuel contains moisture, then also it has got certain enthalpy in it. So this HF1 is initial enthalpy of that water in the boiler house or combustion chamber and that is in kilojoules per kg. So Hg1 is nothing but enthalpy of steam at gas temperature. Say for example boiler house temperature is say initially 27 degrees Celsius, and when gases are produced, when combustion takes place, then temperature of combustion is say 100 degrees Celsius. So this enthalpy is at 100 degrees Celsius, Hg1, and HF1 is at 27 degrees Celsius. This is at 100 degrees Celsius. So it is at the temperature 27 degrees Celsius. This is at the temperature 100 degrees Celsius. Again, Hg1 is the enthalpy of steam at gas temperature and at partial pressure of vapor in gas in kilojoules per kg. This partial pressure, you might have studied Dalton's law of partial pressure. So at partial pressure of vapor, this is obtained. Hg1 is obtained at partial pressure of vapor. Now we find out amount of heat carried by steam into the moisture. Q2 is given by mass of steam present in the flue gases into difference in the enthalpy. So this is initial enthalpy and this is final enthalpy of that vapor. that is obtained in kilojoules per kg. So difference in the enthalpy per kg into mass of steam gives us total heat carried along with the steam in the flue gases. So this is first part. And second part, heat loss due to incomplete combustion of fuel. So incomplete combustion means when fuel is burned. So when fuel is burned into the combustion chamber, the carbon present in fuel gets burned to CO2 if the combustion is complete combustion. If there is a sufficient oxygen in the air or sufficient quantity of air is supplied in the combustion chamber, then complete combustion takes place and produces carbon dioxide as a byproduct of combustion. But if there is a deficiency of oxygen, then carbon is burned into carbon monoxide CO instead of carbon dioxide. So here the capability of liberating heat energy when it burns to CO2 is different, and when it burns to CO is also different. So now 1 kg of carbon, if we burn, combustion of 1 kg of carbon, if it is complete combustion, then it converts into carbon dioxide and liberates 35,000 kilojoules of heat. So unit mass of carbon is burned in presence of sufficient oxygen, then it produces carbon dioxide as a byproduct of combustion and releases 35,000 kilojoules of heat. So now coming to incomplete combustion, if 1 kg of carbon is burned completely into carbon monoxide due to insufficient oxygen, then it liberates only 10,200 kilojoules of heat. So actually it has to liberate 35,000 kilojoules if it burns into carbon dioxide, and if it burns into carbon monoxide it liberates only 10,200 kilojoules of heat. So if there is an incomplete combustion, actual potential heat that was supposed to be liberated by combustion is not going to be liberated. So there is a loss of heat due to incomplete combustion. How much loss we are going to suffer? So heat loss due to incomplete combustion of 1 kg of carbon is nothing but, so if it burns into complete carbon dioxide, then it liberates 35,000, and if it burns into carbon monoxide, then it liberates only 10,200. So 24,800 kilojoules of heat is lost due to incomplete combustion. Incomplete combustion. So this loss we have to avoid. So there must be a complete combustion. So how to find out the loss which we are going to suffer due to incomplete combustion, that we will be studying here. So now heat loss due to incomplete combustion is obtained. So when the presence of carbon monoxide in the flue gases, when we measure or when we do analysis of flue gases, the gases coming out of chimney, then if there is a presence of carbon monoxide in these flue gases, then it indicates that the carbon is not going to burn completely, it is going to burn partially. That is the indication, presence of carbon monoxide in the flue gases coming out of chimney. Say for example, this is chimney. The flue gases are coming out of chimney, and these gases are captured, and if analysis made, and from that analysis if it is proved that carbon monoxide is there, is present in their gases, then the combustion is incomplete. If the percentage of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide in flue gases by volume, not by mass, volume, are known, then carbon burned to CO instead of CO2 per kg of fuel is given by. So carbon, how much of carbon, say for example 1 kg of carbon is burned, then how much of carbon is burned into incomplete combustion, or how much of carbon has burned incompletely, that we can find out. So then carbon burned to CO we can find out of 1 kg how much of carbon is burned into carbon monoxide instead of carbon dioxide can be calculated. Say for example, if we know CO and CO2 expressed in percentage by volume in flue gases. Say for example, we are going to collect 1 meter cube of gases, 1 meter cube of gases, and out of that 1 meter cube of gases, so 0.25 meter cube is CO and 0.75 meter cube is CO2. That means carbon monoxide is 25% by volume and 75% is the carbon dioxide by volume. So from this, if C is the fraction of carbon in 1 kg of fuel, say what is this C is the fraction? Say for example 1 kg of coal you are going to burn. 1 kg of coal you are going to burn. So this 1 kg of coal does not contain 100% carbon. So it contains ash, say. Some content of ash is there, some content of moisture is there. So there are any other ingredients in this coal. So this we have to subtract. Say for example, if we burn 1 kg, that is nothing but 1000 gram. If we burn 1000 gram of coal, then out of that 100 gram is ash, then 50 gram is moisture, then remaining is nothing but carbon. So we may say that we have burned 1 kg of coal, but actually it contains only 850 kg of 850 gram of carbon instead of 1 kg. So this C is nothing but fraction part, that is 0.85 is the fraction of carbon present in 1 kg of fuel. We can say, what we can say here is 1 kg of fuel or coal contains 0.85 as the carbon. So 0.85 is the fraction of carbon in 1 kg of fuel. So coming to next, so how to find out the amount of heat loss due to incomplete combustion. So first we have to calculate mass of carbon burned to carbon monoxide. Say for example, in 1 kg of coal, we have seen 1 kg of coal has got 0.85 kg of carbon, and this out of 0.85 kg of carbon, so this 0.85 kg of carbon is not going to burn completely into carbon monoxide. Say for example, 0.4 kg has burned to carbon monoxide and 0.45 has burned, or 0.45 kg has burned to carbon dioxide. So mass of carbon burned to carbon monoxide, this 0.4 kg, we have to calculate. How to calculate? For that formula is CO into C divided by CO plus CO2, where CO is nothing but, we have just seen here, CO is nothing but volumetric percentage of carbon monoxide, and CO2 is volumetric percentage of carbon monoxide in the flue gases. And here this C is presence of carbon in the fuel. So from this we can find out mass first, and from that mass we can find out amount of heat lost Q3 due to incomplete combustion. So this is mass. This mass has burned incompletely. So 1 kg of mass, if it burns incompletely, we are going to lose 24,800 kilojoules of energy is lost for 1 kg. So if this much is the mass, then how much of heat energy is lost due to incomplete combustion? Say this is kg of fuel. So just now we have seen 0.4 kg. 0.4 kg has burned into carbon monoxide. Therefore 0.4 into 24,800 kilojoules per kg energy is lost. So kg gets cancelled. So 0.4 into 24,800, if we multiply, so many kilojoules of energy is lost due to incomplete combustion of fuel. So this is 0.4 is just an example. Don't consider it as a granted, always it will be 0.4. Never it will be 0.4, it will change that we have to calculate using this formula. Then coming to next, heat loss due to unburned fuel. So when fuel is thrown over the grate, when it is dropped over the grate, then the fuel, some part of fuel, instead of burning over the uh, grate, so grate is a perforated platform over which fuel is burned, and when the fuel is thrown over this perforated platform, some part of fuel is going to get dropped into the ash pit without burning. So this mass of fuel which is going to fall into the ash pit without combustion is not going to liberate heat energy. So if we know quantity of fuel which is going to fall into the ash pit without burning, then we can find out amount of heat loss due to unburned fuel. So here small particles of carbon fall through the grate bars, are carried with fly ash clinkers. So that is nothing but heat is lost due to unburned fuel. So heat lost due to unburned fuel is equal to Q4 is equal to MF1. That is, MF1 is nothing but mass of fuel which is going to fall into the ash pit, and CV is the calorific value of fuel in kilojoules per kg. So MF1 is mass of unburned fuel. Say for example 1 kg of fuel we are going to supply into the combustion chamber. Out of that 1 kg, 10 grams is going to fall into the ash pit. That means 990 grams is going to burn, but out of that 10 grams is going to be lost due to moving along with the ash into the ash pit. So that is nothing but unburned fuel. So now where CV is the calorific value of fuel, so that is nothing but capacity or ability of fuel to liberate heat energy by its complete combustion. Heat loss due to unburned fuel, same thing. Now coming to the convection and radiation losses. So the surface of boiler is exposed to the atmospheric air, and the temperature of ambient air or atmospheric air is less than the temperature of boiler cell. Therefore, definitely there will be heat flow from a boiler surface to the atmosphere, and that heat flow from boiler surface to the atmosphere is by two modes of heat transfer, that is convection and radiation. And this heat flow from boiler to the atmosphere is not calculated by any means of measurement, and that is nothing but we call it as unaccounted heat loss. This is called as unaccounted heat loss. The hot surfaces of boiler are exposed to the atmosphere, from which heat is lost by convection and radiation, and this heat is not measured or not calculated by any of the means. So this we call as unaccounted heat lost. Then what is heat balance? So heat balance is nothing but they tell you, just say for example you are getting 100 rupees from your home and you are going to do expenditure. So when you are going to do expenditure, so you will be writing your expenditure on a paper, and then you will say that I had carried 100 rupees and I made expenditure of 10 rupees for vegetables, then 20 rupees for chocolates, and 30 rupees for what you say purchasing grains or something else. And then finally you are going to write it on the page. So how much you have invested, or how much you have paid for purchasing various items, and how much amount is left in your pocket. That is that you are going to calculate. That is nothing but heat money balance, we can say. Here also heat balance. So amount of heat which is produced by combustion of fuel. Say for example mf kg of fuel is burned, and CV is calorific value, mf into CV. So this much amount of heat is liberated by combustion of mf kg of fuel per unit time. So this amount of heat which is liberated or supplied in the combustion chamber is utilized for various purposes. So very first major part of heat is used by the water to convert it into steam. So this is one part which is utilized by water to get it converted into steam. So this is one. Then second one is heat loss in dry flue gases. When the hot gases are discharged into the atmosphere, then dry gases are carrying heat along with it into the atmosphere. This is nothing but another expenditure we can call in terms of heat. The third one is heat loss in moisture formed from H2 in the fuel and heat loss due to incomplete combustion. So H2 as well as moisture. So heat loss in moisture formed from H2 as well as moisture in fuel. So both. If there is a moisture, so that moisture is evaporated, that carries heat, or if there is no moisture and if hydrogen is present, so then the water which is produced by combustion of hydrogen also carries heat, or both are present, then that will be calculated from both. So heat loss due to incomplete combustion, say for example, if the fuel is burned, instead of carbon dioxide, if it is burned into carbon monoxide, then we say that heat is lost due to incomplete combustion. And then next one is loss of heat due to unburned fuel. If fuel is going to fall into the ash pit without burning, then heat that was supposed to be produced by fuel is not produced because of unburned fuel. So that is nothing but one kind of heat lost. Then heat loss by convection and radiation, which is not accounted. So now we know everything. Heat supplied is known, heat utilized to produce steam is known, heat lost in dry flue gases is known, heat loss in moisture is known, heat loss due to incomplete combustion is known, heat loss due to unburned fuel is known. Then left hand side is known, and on right hand side all these items are known. This is unknown. So this can be calculated, and we say this as unaccounted heat. Now whatever we have calculated till now is placed into the table, and that table is known as a heat balance sheet. So heat balance sheet is nothing but a tabular representation of heat calculations, heat supplied and heat utilized. So heat supplied we say as a QS. QS is the amount of heat supplied, and that is calculated by product of MF into CV, mass of fuel into calorific value. If we are going to burn 10 kg of fuel per unit time, then 10 kg into calorific value of that fuel gives us total amount of heat energy liberated. So this much amount of heat energy has to be liberated. So if we are supplying MF, then it has to liberate this much amount of heat energy that we are going to say. Then heat used to generate steam. So we know H, enthalpy of steam coming out, then enthalpy of water supplied to the boiler. So H minus H feed, this much amount of heat is obtained by water to convert it into steam. So MS is nothing but mass of steam. MS into H minus H feed is nothing but amount of heat absorbed by water to get converted into steam. Then Q2 is nothing but amount of heat carried by flue gases into the atmosphere, that is mg into cpg in bracket Tg minus Ta. So this is nothing but amount of heat energy carried by dry flue gases. Then heat carried by steam in flue gases is nothing but Q3 is equal to ms3, that is nothing but mass of steam in the flue gases, into enthalpy difference Hg1 minus Hf1, that already we have seen. Heat loss due to incomplete combustion. Incomplete combustion, we can find out if we are going to burn mass of fuel, for example 1 kg, out of that, so this is the fraction of fuel which is burned into incomplete combustion into 24,800 gives amount of heat loss due to incomplete combustion. This is EMF may not be there. MF is not there. This MF is not there. CO into C divided by CO plus of CO2 into 24,800. So this itself is mass of fuel which is burned to carbon monoxide. So this you need not to write here MF. Then heat loss due to unburned fuel. If MF1 is the mass of fuel which is going to fall into the ash pit, into calorific value. This much amount of heat is lost due to unburned fuel. So we know all these things, and this is unaccounted heat. So how to find out unaccounted heat? So if we add Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus Q4 plus Q5, and if we subtract this summation from amount of heat which is to be produced by combustion of fuel, then that is nothing but heat unaccounted or heat lost by convection and radiation. That is Q6 is obtained by Qs minus summation of all these. This gives us Q6. So now in this heat balance, so amount of heat liberated is 100%. Out of that 100% is utilized for various purposes. So how much of heat in percentage is utilized by steam? So Q1 is the amount of heat utilized by steam in percentage. If we want to calculate, so Q1 is utilized out of Qs. If say for example Qs amount of heat is supplied, out of that Q1 is used. That means Q1 divided by Qs into 100. Then Q2 amount of heat is carried by flue gases. Q2 divided by Qs into 100 is heat carried by flue gases. Then Q3 is the amount of heat carried by steam in the flue gases. Then how much percentage of heat is carried? So this Q3 divided by again Qs, total amount of heat supplied, gives us amount of heat carried by flue gases. Amount of heat carried by steam in flue gases. Say for example Q4 is the amount of heat energy lost due to incomplete combustion. Then in percentage we can calculate Q4 divided by Qs into 100. And heat loss due to unburned fuel, if we want to calculate, so this is Q5 divided by Qs into 100. So finally unaccounted heat is equal to Q6 divided by Qs into 100. So if we add this first percentage, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, everything, then it will be 100%. This will be equal to amount of heat liberated by combustion of fuel. So here we are going to say that it is balanced. Amount of heat supplied is equal to amount of heat utilized. So everything is accounted. So therefore we call this process as the heat balance of what you say steam generator, that is boiler. So after this we will be discussing on problem. So in next class we will discuss about this problem, how to simplify a problem. So in this problem, the boiler efficiency and equality operation and amount of heat absorbed by steam in superheater has to be calculated. So how to do calculations systematically, that we will be looking into it in next class. So for today, I hope that you have followed everything that we have discussed, and if you have doubt, you may ask to me by making a phone call or on WhatsApp, whatsoever is convenient to you. So today we stop here.